Hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome. Thank you for joining me on today for Cannabis 101 Getting to Know Your Flower. So, I am so excited for today. So excited to see you all here. And I want to thank you, of course, again for joining me. Can you see the excitement on my face? Do you see it? You see the excitement? It's there. It's there. So I have been preparing for this day for a very, very long time. I'm so excited to just let you know about the wonderful, wonderful joys of cannabis. Cannabis. It is here. It is here to stay. It is not going anywhere. So I am excited to explain to you all of the basics, all of the necessary things you need to know about cannabis so that you can make a healthy and conscious decision about what's best for you, because only you know what's best for you. So I'm here to give you the truth, give you the facts, and everything that I am saying to you, the information that I am giving you can be fact checked. So you can Google it anytime you want to, because the information is there. Okay. So I'm excited again, and I want to thank you once again for joining me for Cannabis 101. This is the first of many, because I'm going to bring you a lot of information, because there is a lot of information to know about cannabis. This is just like the bottom layer, the not even bottom layer. I'll just say this is the beginning. So I'm going to give you your backbone, your foundation for cannabis, so that you have a better understanding, can make a conscious and well thought out decision. Okay. All right. Yeah. So as you see, I am streaming here on a couple of platforms. I'm streaming on my Facebook, I'm streaming on my YouTube, and I am streaming directly on, I believe, in my Facebook group. All right. So if you are not able to catch it right now, there will be replays all over the place. You'll be able to see it, catch it, get all of this information. I will also be giving you the slides that my information is coming from, that I put together for you today. I will be giving you those slides today as well. I'll give you a QR code, so keep your cameras, your phones handy, so that you can get that QR code at the end, okay? And just stay with us, because I have some special treats in store for you, okay? All right. So let's go ahead and get started, because I do not want to keep you all day, you understand? All right, guys, so we're going to get started. And again, this is Cannabis 101. And I want to thank you so much for joining us here today. And just let me know where you're from. Where are you watching us from? We have a comment box there. Let us know where you are watching from. I'm here in Baltimore, Maryland. I love Baltimore. Born and raised here. All of my family is here. Go Ravens. Go Ravens always, no matter what season it is. It's Go Ravens season for me. So we are famous for our crabs. We are famous for our Inner Harbor, our Chesapeake Bay. We are famous for just the beautiful, wonderful scenery and the beautiful people here. All right, so let me know where you are from, so I can give you a shout out and just say hello and thank you from Baltimore. So, I want to tell you a little bit about myself and what makes me the expert on what I'm going to be telling you about today. So, again, my name is Coach Erica Ricole of Erica's Wellness Coaching, and I am a mother of three, two boys and one girl. I'm a former EMT. I bartend on the side. I'm also, as you know, a CBD and cannabis coach. Yeah. So my career did not start out with me wanting to get into cannabis. It always was in the healthcare field. I always cared about people and their health and their well-being, but I didn't know how I wanted to help, but I knew that I did. So I did a lot of different jobs within healthcare. My last one being EMT. You know, EMT, I had fun. It was good. It was rough on my body, but I enjoyed helping the people. All right. And what also makes me an expert is because I suffer with anxiety, with depression. I have arthritis. My knees be getting it, my back be giving it to me sometimes, you know. So I started using cannabis as a way to relieve those things because I was on, I think, well, I'm still on a couple of them, but I was on at least four medications: one for anxiety, one for depression, one for high blood pressure, and then one to help the blood pressure medicine. Then taking Tylenol or what have you for knee or back pain, using the icy hot, using the heat. I don't really like heating pads, it's too hot. But I was taking a lot of medicine, as you can see, a whole lot of medications to try to relieve these symptoms that I had. So, not wanting to constantly be on those medicines, constantly having those side effects, constantly having to contact my doctor for a refill, or just all of these number of things, I started seeking other ways to relieve these symptoms naturally. Okay, so I found out that cannabis and CBD were a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful way to do that and not give you all of those uncontrollable side effects. Okay, because some of the side effects that I had, and I'm going to tell you, is like constipation, moodiness, just overall constantly pills, 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 pills. It was too much. It was too much. So I sought out other ways, and I discovered cannabis. And of course, like many others, I did experiment with cannabis when I was in high school. Please don't tell my mother. I experimented with cannabis in high school, but as a child, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know the real purpose and the benefits of cannabis, so I was misusing it. Okay. So it was misused by me. Now it's being used properly. And that's what I do as a CBD and a cannabis coach. I teach people how to use cannabis and CBD properly so that you are getting the most from your medicine. You are getting the full benefits of this cannabis flower. So I decided to, I gave up my career as an EMT because cannabis and my health, I won't say cannabis, let me take that out. My health was more important. Okay. And I knew that I could not use cannabis and work for that specific company or the government or whomever. So I chose me over money. But I'm happy in the choice that I made because I am now able to help others and show you, I'm going to show you all of the benefits and the ins and outs, the basics of cannabis so that you can make a healthy and conscious decision on what you want to do for you, just like I did. Okay, so it's a little bit about myself. Also, I am an adult trauma and abuse survivor, okay, and also childhood trauma survivor. So I have a lot of expertise in a lot of things, okay. So that's what makes me the expert. That's what makes me the person that you need to listen to and get this information from. Okay, so before we get started, I just want to actually, we're going to do a little housekeeping. A little housekeeping. So I want you to silence your phones so that we can get the most out of our time together. Okay. I want you to grab a pen and paper, because I'm going to give you some information that you are going to want to have. And I also want you to grab you a refreshing drink. So I'm going to give you a moment to do those things. Get you a drink, grab your pen and paper, because I'm going to be giving you some gems, some good information for you today. All right. Y'all like my cup? I got this cup today. Especially for today. I enjoy drinking my water and I didn't want to make a whole bunch of noise. So I hope you all got your pen and paper. And if not, you can replay this so you'll be good. So we're going to move along. Move along. And I want you to know that at the end of this, remember I said I had a special treat for you guys. At the end of this, I'm going to be giving away a special prize. So don't worry. I have everything you need. I have the systems going to take care of everything. At the end, I just want you guys, you're going to hashtag a word. We're going to do a random pull of a name and we'll give you a prize. Okay. All right. So I'm going to give you a brief cannabis history. Let's start at the beginning. Okay. So cannabis has been grown and used for nearly 12,000 years. Okay, 12,000. And the first mention of it in history that they have, the first recorded history that mentions cannabis is in Central Asia. Okay, so for 12,000 years, cannabis has been grown and used. All right, so it's not new. It is nothing new under the sun. How the my who did I used to hear say that? I say that just people would say there's nothing new under the sun, right? So cannabis has been here over 12,000 years. All right. So in the 1900s, all medicines basically had cannabis in it. Every medication that the pharmaceutical companies were producing had cannabis in it. Imagine that. Cannabis in everything. The very thing that they're saying is this, that, and the third. We'll get into that. But it has been used for thousands of years. And in the US, nearly 60,000 pounds of cannabis was grown a year. Huh? Yeah, you heard me. 60,000 pounds per year was grown. And that means cannabis was used. All right, so we'll get into why all of that changed. Okay, so 12,000 years ago, Central Asia, that's where they have the first recorded use of cannabis. All right, and it's been in everything in medicine since the 1900s. Around roughly the 1960s, mid 1900s, cannabis became almost like public enemy number one. And that is due to, I'm not going to go too political on you, but I want to give you the truth. I want to let you know what happened and what changed. So a number of things happened, but the main thing that happened was when President Nixon was in office. And if you do not remember that time, well, I wasn't born, but I remember people speaking of the Vietnam War. Okay, so you remember all the, as they call it, hippies and things, were very, very, they did not want the war. They were against the Vietnam War. So President Nixon, because in his opinion, people wanted war, they enjoyed war, uh, he decided to make an example of those that opposed the Vietnam War and African Americans. I don't know why they stuck African Americans in there, why he did that, but he decided to do that. So he deliberately targeted people that were against the Vietnam War, which happened to be what, like the hippies and the Caucasians, you had the Hispanic people, and you had Black people, African Americans that opposed the Vietnam War. So those people became the target. And That's where the major war on drugs began, because you opposed something that was so detrimental to somewhere else. You became public enemy number one. All right. So that's where the beginning of the change came. That's where all the movies and the negativity and the stereotypes, in my opinion, that's where they began. Okay. Because there are medical facts that we have here. Today, um, people are serving prison time over having cannabis. Prison, like long prison sentences because of that, for a plant that is naturally grown, something that was used for medication, something that was once in almost every pharmaceutical medication. Okay. And it was grown over 60,000 pounds a year were grown. So you're saying that this is now a bad plant somehow, just because word of mouth? I don't know, but I'm here to give you the truth. The truth. So I want to talk about Dr. Sanjay Gupta. If you do not know this man, you need to Google him. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about him. So he is the chief medical correspondent for CNN. He is a neurosurgeon. And at one point, Dr. Gupta was against cannabis, totally against cannabis, because of he believed the reports and the things that he was reading, because he trusted the people. So let me read to you what he says. He says, I apologize because I didn't look hard enough until now. I mistakenly believed the Drug Enforcement Agency listed marijuana, I don't like to say marijuana, cannabis, listed cannabis as a Schedule 1 substance because of sound scientific proof. See, he took their word for it because he thought that they did the work and they did the research and they were the government, and he believed them. Right? And he goes on to say, we have been terribly and systematically misled for nearly 70 years. 70 years in the US. He said, I apologize. He apologized for his role in it. So now he is one of the voices for cannabis research, for cannabis reform, for getting cannabis everywhere. He's letting you know there are other studies being done. There are small um, countries and small labs that are doing great work improving how wonderful cannabis is. Okay, so we're going to jump into, and I'm going to explain to you exactly what cannabis is. The cannabis is a genus of flowering plants. So it's a flowering plant from the Cannabaceae. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. If not, it's in the slide. You can look it up and listen to the sound. All right, but cannabis is the parent plant of marijuana and hemp. So cannabis itself is the plant. I don't like to say marijuana because of all the racial things that are tied to the name marijuana. I won't cover that in this one, but it's racially motivated. It's not a medical word, nor is it the name of the flower. So the flower is cannabis. Okay. So because they were calling the flower marijuana and it produces cannabis and hemp, taking both of those out. It's cannabis, and then the cannabis is the flower, and then it produces cannabis and hemp. I'll explain it to you a little more. You'll have an understanding. Don't worry. So for the time being, just know that cannabis is the parent and the children are cannabis and hemp. So they are siblings. So you know that it comes from when you have a sibling, you all come from the same parent, but you're two different people. Okay. So hemp is defined as having less than 0.3% of THC in it. So that's what makes it legal because the trace amount of THC is so minute. So anything above zero point 0.3 is considered cannabis. So if it's zero point 0.4, they're going to say it's cannabis. Zero point 0.3 and lower, it is considered hemp. And remember, the parent plant is cannabis, and the cannabis plant produces cannabis and hemp. It's almost like, what was the guy's name? George Foreman. And he named his son George Foreman, but he was still, a child, offspring of the plant. Works in the same way. Cannabis flower, you have the cannabis and you have the hemp. So just like, and I want to give you another example. So for instance, the wild mustard plant. From the wild mustard plant you can produce broccoli, you can produce cabbage, you can produce mustard leaves. So all of those things come from the parent plant, the wild mustard plant. Okay. You have any questions? If you have questions, just type them in the box and we'll address them. So I hope that I'm covering your understanding what I'm saying. If not, type the questions in there and I will answer all of your questions. Okay. So the wild mustard plant produces broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, right? Same deal with cannabis. So how does medical cannabis work, you ask? Hmm. Well, I will let you know how cannabis works and what makes it just the wonderful, wonderful plant that it is that I love and adore so much. So, cannabis works on your ECS, which is your endocannabinoid system. And your endocannabinoid system plays a role in regulating everything in your body, keeping you in homeostasis. So, it regulates things such as sleep, appetite, memory, mobility, your stress. So your ECS regulates all those things. So your ECS has receptors that go throughout your entire body. So cannabis is what interacts with those receptors and makes those biological things happen. And researchers suggest that when you have a deficiency in your ECS, that may contribute to chronic illnesses. Because remember, your endocannabinoid system helps keeps everything in balance within you. Okay. Now, the ECS. I also want to touch on this. The endocannabinoid system was discovered in the 1990s by some scientists that were actually doing research on THC. So these researchers were, doing some stuff on THC, trying to see the benefits of it, and they discovered the endocannabinoid system. And they discovered that we all have one, even if you have never consumed cannabis in any shape or form. We all have an ECS. Isn't that wonderful? So it's already there. It's in ya. So your ECS also, I wanted to talk about your CB1 and CB2 receptors because remember, your ECS has receptors that flow throughout your entire body. So your CB1 and CB2, which is cannabidiol 1, cannabidiol 2. I know the words are, but I have it for you. Cannabidiol. All right. And you can Google it. You can listen to the sound. It's I'm sorry, it's cannabidiol. Cannabidiol. Take out the doyle. Cannabidiol. My dyslexia kicked in for a second. Cannabidiol receptor 1, cannabidiol receptor 2. So your CB1 receptors are found in your central nervous system, which is your brain, your spinal cord, and all of your nerves. So when you consume CBD or cannabis, it may target your spinal nerve to help relieve pain. Okay, so those receptors are in your central nervous system and in your spine. All right, so it targets when you consume cannabis or CBD, it targets those receptors to help relieve pain. And your CB2 receptors are almost everywhere else. So those are found in your immune system, your gastrointestinal intestines. So your immune cells, all of those have CB2 receptors. So you have your CB1 and your CB2 receptors. And those are the things that cannabis targets. Your CBD targets to help keep you in homeostasis. All right. So you want to maintain homeostasis, because when you are in homeostasis, that means everything, your health is wonderful. Like everything is going the way it's supposed to. Right. And that's what we want. Right. If that's what we want, type, that's what we want in a comment box. That's what we want. We want to maintain homeostasis. And that's why most people use CBD. All right. So the two main cannabinoids that are in cannabis is THC and CBD. And THC is the more psychoactive component. It's the more relaxing. You're like, hey. THC is like, where the party at? Come on, y'all, let's chill. You too hype. Relax. Okay, that's how THC is. So that's why they say it's more psychoactive, because it's more calming for the mind. It's more relaxing for the mind. All right. And it's good for anxiety, it's good for depression. But CBD is the one that gets straight to the point. It's like, show me what I got to do, show me where the pain is, and that's where I'm going. Okay. So THC is delta 9 to some, or tetrahydrocannabinol. Say that 3 times. So that's what THC is. CBD, remember, is the cannabidiol. Cannabidiol. All right. So we have THC and CBD are the two main cannabinoids found in the cannabis plant. Make a note of that. So we're going to go a little deeper, and I'm going to let you know exactly what THC does and what THC can help treat. So THC is used mostly for pain relief. It helps with muscle spasms. It helps people that are suffering with low appetite, with pain, anxiety, as I said before, and also nausea. And you remember when back in the day, somebody may say they had glaucoma. You're like, well, smoke some cannabis. I got glaucoma. That's why I'm smoking. So THC was used for glaucoma. And the two forms of THC that most of us, some know and some do not. I did not know until I got my cannabis card, my medical marijuana card. I don't like saying marijuana. My medical cannabis card. I did not know the difference between indica and sativa. Well, I didn't told you the names now. But the two forms of THC are sativa and indica. And I'm going to explain to you the differences and what makes each one of those unique. Okay. Sativa and indica are the two forms of THC. Now, sativa, that's my friend. I like me some sativa. Sativa is a daytime cannabis. It's if you want to be up and be productive, and it improves your focus, it increases energy, it uplifts your mood. Because I suffer with depression, I use sativa. I like sativa, but I also have anxiety, so I have to be careful and how much sativa, how much uplifting I'm doing. Because if you already have anxiety, too much sativa can send you over the top. It can actually uh, make you or induce a panic attack. Ask me how I know. Ask me. Because I experienced it. I consumed when I was just beginning, and that is why a cannabis coach is so important. Because when you are just getting your card, it's just like, here you go. We know what you need it for. Now go out into the world and be great. But they don't tell you that there's still more. You still need to know more. You can't just, bud tenders do not always have a lot of time that they can spend with a person and explain exactly what each thing is, or map out or a wellness plan or the best flower for you. That's why you need a CBD or cannabis coach. Because what we do is we hold your hand, we walk you through, and we figure out what's the best fit for you. Because if you have anxiety, like I do, you would not want to consume something that is high in sativa. But because I did not have a cannabis coach at the time, I didn't even know what a cannabis coach was. I consumed too much sativa because I went into the bud tender and I told her, hey, I suffer with depression. But I didn't tell her about the anxiety part. So I say, yeah, I suffer with depression. And I want something that's going to, have me uplifted and make me, want to go to work and be productive. And that's what she did. But what she gave me was too much for my system. And it induced a panic attack, which was not fun. So I had to go back to the same place and explain to them a little deeper. Oh, I forgot to tell you that I also have anxiety. And that's not, I don't want you to go through that because it can be scary, especially if you are trying to eliminate anxiety and you use cannabis and it induces anxiety. You're like, oh no, this is not for me. What the people saying was right. No. Just like with any medication, you have to give it time. It's your doctor prescribes something for you. And you're like, yeah, you told me what this is supposed to do, but it ain't doing that. And what do? They give you something else, right? So it's the same thing with cannabis. You have to try it. You have to know, but you want to go low and slow. You want to start low and go slow. Okay. So sativas, they're very stimulating. They're uplifting the mood. All right. But be careful with sativa because if you suffer with anxiety, it can send you the other way. It can have the opposite effect of what you're looking for. All right. So indica. Indica is more of a relaxing. It relaxes your mind. It relaxes your body. It relieves pain. It stimulates your appetite. It helps with insomnia. So indica, that's what typically when people would talk about cannabis and what they didn't like, and they were like, "Oh, I used to use my smoke cannabis. They're always on the couch and they're just doing nothing with themselves." That's probably because the person consumed a lot of indica, because that's what indica does. Indica relaxes you. So indica is good for someone such as myself that has anxiety. But remember, there's always a but. Because I suffer with both, I have to have a balance. So I had to learn a balance. I don't like being sleepy and just on the couch and just, I don't like that. That's not for me. I don't like sleeping my day away, just lounging my day away. So I had to discover a hybrid. A hybrid is a mix of sativa and indica. You following me? Is it good? You got any questions? Put them in the box. Got questions? Put them in the box. So recapping, sativa, uplifting, increases your mood, like well, increases focus, increases energy, and uplifts your mood. Indica is more. I call it indica. I think about the end because at the end I'm going to sleep. So indica is more relaxing. It relaxes your mind. It relieves pain. It stimulates appetite. Right? Good. So let's talk about some statistics and some real numbers, some real facts. So statistics show 44% of hemp-derived CBD users are college graduates. So when people say people that use cannabis and smoke the reefers, they don't do anything with themselves. That is not true because 44% of people that use CBD are college graduates, which means also that these are professional people. These are people that know what they want, know what's best for them, and have made a conscious decision to not use a prescription or use a prescription and also use this as a balancer. Okay. 8% of CBD users are aged 65 and older because CBD is used for pain relief a lot of time for our older adults. It helps with pain, and you don't have to worry about having THC in your system or worry about the psychoactive effect, but you get that pain relief without the side effects of prescription medications. And a lot of these prescription medications, their prices are just out of control. So a lot of times our older adults will go without their medicine because they can't afford it. Who wants that? Who wants their parent to be suffering or their loved one to be suffering because they can't afford their medication? That's not cool. Like that hurts my heart. That hurts my heart to think that you're suffering unnecessarily. Okay, so, and we're gonna move on. 43% of CBD users are married. So there's not these single people out here because a lot of the stereotypes were the women or whomever that smoked CBD or cannabis were very promiscuous and they were just these terrible, terrible people. 43% of them are married, and 61% of CBD users live with their significant other. All right, and they use it, together. They use together because they know the benefits, and there are also benefits of um, sexual stimulation for other people. We go through menopause. I haven't been through it yet, but it's coming. I know how the libido goes down. CBD and cannabis helps with that as well. It's an overall, you can take it for everything. I put that on everything. And so I told you before, our bodies contain CBD, well, cannabis already. So when we take added CBD, it helps to boost and balance our endocannabinoid system, our ECS, and that prompts good overall health. And as I told you in the last slide, many seniors, I don't call them seniors, well, I have to ask them what they like to be called. So many seniors have found lower doses of THC, so they don't like all of the psychoactive part, and they combine that with CBD. It creates a better pain relief. So lower CBD, lower THC, and higher CBD is like an entourage effect for them, and it helps relieve their pain from inflammation. Um, and their prescription drugs just didn't do it. So it helped them to relieve a lot of that medicine because a lot of times, if you take the medicine, the prescription medicine, you got to wait hours, hours before, first of all, it could possibly take effect, hours before you could take another dose. When you consume CBD as a vape or smoke it, that's almost an immediate result, immediate pain relief, immediate, without the side effects of, oh, I got to eat first before I take it, or it's going to upset my stomach. Oh, I got to drink a lot of water with it because if I don't, I'm going to be constipated. That's not the case. So a lot of our seniors are starting to discover CBD and discover that it is a good fit for them. Hmm. So let me tell you what uh, CBD helps treat. So CBD is a wonderful, 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 wonderful part of the cannabis flower. CBD helps to treat anxiety and depression and post-traumatic stress disorder. So PTSD, like our vets that are suffering with PTSD, people such as myself from adult trauma. CBD helps with that. And it also helps to promote sleep because sometimes when you are going through a lot of stress and anxiety or body pain, you cannot sleep. And it's horrible to be awake and in pain nonetheless. And it helps with addiction withdrawal. So studies have shown that people that are going through addiction treatment using CBD helps to kill those cravings for the drug, the opioid, or whatever um, drug they were using. It helps kill those withdrawal side effects with the nausea and the body aches and the chills and the pain. So CBD can help everybody, everything. So PTSD, anxiety, depression, withdrawal, all of that can be helped. 'Cause I hate to see that they get our people off of one thing and then put them on something else. So I'm gonna get you off of this drug by putting you on something that's just like it. Okay, it's too deep for somebody's head. So we're moving on. So there are three forms of CBD, just like there were a couple of forms of THC. So you have the sativa and the indica. CBD also comes in its own forms. So when you're speaking of CBD and you want to get a CBD product, you will have to choose from three different forms. We have the full spectrum. So the full spectrum has everything in it. It has all of the components of the cannabis plant and some traces of THC. Right? So if you get a full spectrum CBD oil or product, there will be traces of THC. So if you use it and you have to take a drug test, you might come up positive for THC because it's a full spectrum, right? It has small amounts of all components of the cannabis plant. Then we have the broad spectrum. The broad spectrum contains other components of the cannabis plant, other components of the cannabis plant, but it has no THC. So a lot of times I will suggest broad spectrum. Like I've given it to my mom. Broad spectrum is something I don't worry about her having the THC in it, the psychoactive effect of the oil. She just has the CBD, and it makes her more comfortable. It makes her more inclined to actually take the medicine. Okay, so you can get the broad spectrum. Now, isolates, I won't say that they're bad, but I'm not a big fan because isolates have no other components found in the cannabis plant. It just has CBD. That's it. Cut and dry. It just has CBD in it. And I'm not saying that it doesn't help, but it doesn't have enough of the properties of the cannabis plant in it to do what I needed to do. It may work for some, but I'm giving you the information so that you can make your own conscious, knowledgeable decision. All right. So we have the full spectrum, broad spectrum, and the isolate CBD. All right. Make a note of it, but remember you'll have the slides. And we're going to move on to my favorite. So before we move on to my terpenes, I want to find out if you all have any questions. Put them in the comment box and we will address them at the end and we will get to it. All right, so let's just move it on along. We're going to talk about our terpenes. So terpenes are a wonderful part of the cannabis plant that I love so much. You see my smile? Terpenes determine the smell, the taste, and the effects of cannabis. So when you are getting a cannabis flower or vape, the terpenes determine the smell, the taste, and the effects. Now, terpenes are in almost every fruit and vegetable that you are eating today, period. You're already ingesting terpenes. You already know what terpenes are. I'm going to trust me, you know what they are. They're found in all plants and vegetables. So it's what gives oranges that orangey smell and that orangey taste. Those are terpenes. See, you telling you know this stuff. Some of this stuff you already know. Don't worry about it. Now, my first terpene I want to talk to you about is linalool. Now, linalool is a floral smelling type terp. Okay, that's short for terpene. That's our little nickname for terpenes, terp. So it's like a floral and musky smell. It's like lavender. It's used for anxiety, insomnia, for seizures, and for pain. So if you're familiar with, a lot of times there are like baby lotions and lotions on the market with lavender in it, because lavender, the smell is very relaxing to the senses. That's the same thing when it is in cannabis. It's very relaxing. It induce well, not induces. It helps stimulate sleep. It makes you sleepy. It relaxes you so that you're able to go to sleep. Right. So again, it has like that very floral. If you ever smell lavender, it has that floral smell. Then you know what I mean. Lavender is linalool, and it's found in some cannabis. Now, limonene, that's my best friend. Go best friend, go best friend, go best friend. So limonene is that it's like a bitter citrus, has a bitter citrus aroma, and it is good for depression. It is good for heartburn. It's good for anxiety. It's also an antibacterial, and it has possible cancer fighting abilities. Okay. So limonene is my one of my favorites because it increases your mood. It uplifts your mood rather. I keep saying increase your mood. It uplifts your mood. So it's good for anxiety. It's one of my favorites. Limonene. I always look. If I'm looking for a sativa, you want to look for limonene. On look at the profile, which means the percentage of how much limonene is in there. Ooh, yes, limonene. Our next one is going to be is going to be pinene. So pinene, as the name kind of states, it has a piney aroma, like a pine fragrance. It counteracts the cognitive effects of THC. So it counteracts the psychoactive effects of cannabis. It's a bronchial dilator. It's good for inflammation. It also enhances your brain. All right, your cognitive function. It gets you thinking. It helps you focus. So if you are looking at the profile on your cannabis flower or the cannabis vape, if it's high in alpha pinene or beta pinene, it's usually going to be good for focus, okay, and uplifting your mood. So it's going to keep you focused. It's an anti-inflammatory. It's antibacterial. So it's good overall. I like pinene. Pinene is good. Now, myrcene is cool. A lot of people like myrcene. Myrcene is found a lot of times in the indica flower, and indica induces sleep. I don't particularly like being sleepy all the time or too relaxed. So myrcene is very sedating, and it has like a musky, earthy smell. And it's found also if you eat mangoes. Myrcene is found in mangoes, so it's a good pain reliever. It's good for inflammation, insomnia, and hypertension. So it helps with muscle spasms and things because myrcene is relaxing and a pain reliever. Mhm. Carafilene. Carafilene, not carafilene, caryophyllene. Caryophyllene is it has a spicy aroma, it's very peppery. And I know if I have a flower or vape that has caryophyllene in it because it makes me very sneezy. I get very sneezy. So caryophyllene will do that to you. So then caryophyllene is an antibacterial, it's antifungal, anti-inflammatory, and it also helps with nerve pain. Okay. All right, give me 1 second, guys. 1 second. Be right back. All right, guys. I'm so sorry. Okay. So we were talking about caryophyllene. So caryophyllene it has a very spicy aroma, very peppery smell to it. And as I told you, if I consume that, I already know because I'm sneezing, my nose is stopped up. So it's not a good thing for me. I'm not a big fan. But it's good for nerve pain, it's good for depression, it's an anti-inflammatory. So it does definitely have wonderful benefits, just not for me. Okay. And osmine. Osmine it has a woodsy type smell to it. Um, it's It has a distinct smell. If it's high in osmine, your flower is high in osmine, you can definitely smell. It's sweet, almost like I'll say sandalwood, almost, in my opinion. That's what it smells like. But it has a very floral, fruity, sweet, woodsy smell. And it's an antiviral, antifungal, antibacterial, and antioxidant. So, an antioxidant, what they do is they defend your cells. So, antioxidants are used in your body and they defend your cells. So, if you are consuming osmine, this is going to be good for like inflammation, for being an antibacterial in your system, an antioxidant, and has antiseptic effects. So, osmine is very good. It's good. All of the terpenes like that, all of them have wonderful benefits. Wonderful benefits. Just some of them, because every medication has a side effect. The the caryophyllene just makes me sneeze. I'm allergic to peppers. That's the only thing. That's the only reason. Okay, so nothing more than that. So those are the terpenes that I enjoy. There are a few more. I can cover those with my clients. We go deeper into the terpenes, but the basic terpenes are the ones that I let you guys know about. Okay, so again, remember terpenes, they are what? They help. Well, they are the smell, the taste, and the effects of cannabis. My words, they are the producers of the effects in cannabis. So the smell, the taste, the aroma. When you open the bag, you like sniff it, smell it. Oh, that's that thing. That's what those things are. Okay. So other conditions that cannabis helps are it's a list. It's a list of things that cannabis helps, and it starts with glaucoma, mental health conditions such as like schizophrenia, post-traumatic stress, so the PTSD. You have your MS, muscle spasms, nausea, pain, seizures, wasting syndrome, Alzheimer's, appetite loss, cancer, Crohn's disease, diseases affecting the immune system, such as HIV and AIDS or MS, eating disorders such as anorexia and epilepsy. And I know there are tons of, I haven't even touched on, like, it is tons and tons more. But those are the ones that they definitely will benefit you. So if you are someone that suffers with any of these conditions, then cannabis could be a great add to your wellness plan, to your medication, so that you can try to eliminate some of the other things. So I want to read you guys a quote by George Washington, and it says, "Make the most you can of the Indian hemp seed and sow it everywhere." So remember in the beginning, we talked about that over 60,000 pounds of cannabis was grown a year by the U.S. pharmaceutical company. George Washington said, grow it everywhere, sow it everywhere. So they knew the benefits of cannabis, but because of President Nixon's and Nixon's own agenda of what he wanted to happen, he decided to purposefully target African Americans and those that opposed the Vietnam War. So that's why cannabis became public enemy number one. Okay, they started this big, huge war on drugs. Okay, so if all of the information that I have given you guys has prompted you to look a little deeper and find out if cannabis is for you, this is what you want to do next. All right, look at these slides. This is what you're going to do next. You are going to contact a medical cannabis doctor. Yes, they are out there, a medical cannabis doctor. So, how bad is cannabis? They got doctors for it. So, a medical cannabis doctor or a nurse practitioner. Why you're going to see them is they are going to be your first stop. They will explain to you the same things basically that I said, and they're going to ask you some questions, get a medical history on you to find out if you would qualify for cannabis. All right. If you do qualify, then they will give you a medical evaluation. Now, each state is different, so you want to definitely check with your state to see how they do their process. But in Maryland, this is the process. You contact the cannabis doctor or a nurse practitioner, you get a medical evaluation, then you get your cannabis certificate. Okay? So, see a doctor, get evaluated, get your card. 3 steps. That's it. All right? If you have something, a condition that is on that list, and you think cannabis, if you're looking for something that is not going to have all the side effects that your prescription medicines have, the cost, the time it takes for it to take effect on your body, the time it takes for it to get out of your system, you may want to think about CBD or cannabis. Okay. And then, if that is a decision that you're saying yes to, you're going to seek a cannabis doctor or nurse practitioner, get that evaluation, get your cannabis certification, and then you will call me. You're going to call Erica's Wellness Coaching. Call me. Call me. Call me. You're going to call me, and I am going to be the one that is going to help you with that next process. So the next step is figuring out which flower, which way to consume, how much you need, if it's sativa, if it's indica, if it's CBD, if it's full spectrum, if it's broad spectrum, if it's an isolate. I do all that with you. Don't worry. It feels like overwhelming, but trust me, I will be right there. I hold your hand. I walk you through it. We create a wellness plan. I check in with you. We do some little tweaking. If this is not working for you, we're gonna try this. If that doesn't work, we're gonna tune it down. We're gonna tune it up. We're gonna figure it out because that's what I do. That's my expertise. I am a certified CBD cannabis coach because I suffer with anxiety, I suffer with depression, I suffer with arthritis, back pain, body headaches. I haven't been diagnosed with migraines, but I tell you, I promise you, I probably do get migraines. But I haven't gotten them in a long time because I use CBD and cannabis, and they out. Okay, so let me know any questions you have. And remember, I told you at the end I was going to have the QR code for you. So here is your QR code on this side. Here's your QR code. Please take a screenshot, a shot of this so that you all will be able to review the slides, view them, so that you can go back through. And if you have questions later on, you can always contact me. I'm here. I am here. I would like for you all to follow us on Instagram, on YouTube. I'm there. I'm there. So what I wanted to do is, what else were we gonna do? I got your QR codes. Got that part. That's the great part. Let me see. Oh, I gotta put you on the side there. All right, so I just want to say thank you all. This was fun. This was fun. It was like so much information. I thought it was gonna be like overwhelming for you guys, but you handled it. You did your thing. You did your thing. I am proud of you all. Okay, so remember, what? Let's recap. Let's do a quick recap. All right, cannabis is the parent plant. All right, what are the offsprings? Cannabis and hemp. Hemp has 0.3% or less THC in it. If it has anything above zero point 0.3, it is considered THC. Okay. THC comes in sativa and indica form and a hybrid form. I didn't cover hybrid. Hybrid, we'll talk about hybrid. But hybrid is a mixture of sativa and indica. And a hybrid can be higher in indica and lower in sativa, or higher in sativa, lower in indica, or it can be equal. All right. So, three forms of THC is sativa, indica, hybrid. Right? You have the CBD, which is your full spectrum, your broad spectrum, and your isolates. Right? Full spectrum has everything in it, even traces of THC. Broad spectrum has all the CBD components in it, but no THC. Isolate is just CBD, period. Boom. That's it. No CBG, no CBN, just CBD. All right. Sativa is very uplifting. It uplifts that mood. It stimulates you. It gets you up and moving. Yeah, I want to party with Steve. But indica is that very relaxing, that chill in the background, relaxing. It helps with pain. It helps to stimulate sleep. So if you're a person that suffers with insomnia, indica could be a great help for you. All right, what else? What else do we need to cover? Recap on your terpenes. So yeah, the few is limonene, pinene, osmine, myrcene, caryophyllene. So all of these terpenes are what gives um, cannabis its smell, taste, and the effect. Okay, if cannabis or THC is the thing you want to look into, contact a cannabis doctor or a nurse practitioner. Get your evaluation, get your card, and then see me. And then we'll take it from there. So we'll take it from there. But this has been fun. This has been absolutely amazing, guys. Amazing, amazing, amazing. So I want to thank you again for joining me for Cannabis 101, the first of many. Keep your eyes out because I have some things coming up soon. A lot of information, a lot of great opportunities for you guys to learn with me, to grow with me. All right. So be on the lookout. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you have an absolutely amazing, magnificent rest of your day. Goodbye from Erica's Wellness Coaching. Bye.